It's been quite some time since I've done one of these videos, so here are a few games on Nintendo Switch that are hidden gems that I believe you should check out, but also a quick disclaimer. All of these, of course, are available on the Switch, but some of them I played on Steam, so the footage you're going to see is of the Steam version, so I'll have that marked in the upper right hand corner so that you know which one those are. But without further ado, let's get right into it. On the surface, Fading Afternoon is a 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up, but honestly, that description doesn't do this experience full justice. This is kind of like a hybrid fusion of River City Ransom meets Shenmue meets Yakuza. You play as this Yakuza member Seiji Maruyama, who's fresh off of doing a prison bid, so he's now a free man. And now that he's back on the streets, you get to determine how he's going to live his life. Fading Afternoon is not going to be for everybody because this game does not hold your hand. It doesn't really give you directions. It gives you complete agency and leaves you to your own devices as to what you want to do. So if you want to, get back into the gang life, take over gang territories, you can go on the streets and you can scrap it out with some pretty fun combat that has good combos. You got takedowns, you got these little, you can block, you can use weapons, or you can just calmly roam the streets. You can go fishing, you can go to the baseball little place and hit the baseball. It has this really good, just really great soundtrack. There's something about this game that really grabbed me. I love the freedom that it gave me. I kind of like that feeling of just being able to do whatever it is I feel like doing, but your decisions actually do matter. I played this game 3 different times and I've gotten 3 different endings based on just some of the decisions that I made. So like I said, this game isn't going to hold your hand. You're going to be left to your own devices to kind of figure things out. But once you start figuring things out, you'll see that the choices that you make do have some weight to them. But yeah, I really, really like this game, man. But like I said, it will not be for everybody. But if you're somebody who likes adventuring, you want to be able to just play a game and be left to your own devices, this is going to be for you. So check out Fading Afternoon. Biomorph is a 2D Metroidvania with a beautiful hand-drawn art style, and the main mechanic of this game is that you can absorb the enemies that you kill. So, you can absorb them, you start using their abilities, and there are a lot of different kinds of creatures that you're going to be absorbing, and you can absorb them, of course, to fight, but you're also going to be using them to help you traverse, to help you solve puzzles. So there's like a method to the madness in terms of absorbing different enemies. And then you're also going to be finding upgrades as you're out and about and adventuring. You're going to start off, well, first you break from prison or / like a laboratory. You play as this character named Harlow, and then you do end up in the town of Brightmoor, and this is kind of like the main hub. This is where you're going to meet characters, meet friends, get sent on adventure quests. You're trying to help rebuild the city of Brightmoor and also kind of remember who you are as you go out and find memory fragments and continue to progress in the story. But I had a lot of fun with this, man. The mechanic of being able to absorb enemies I thought was really dope. It's a beautiful world, so it was really just fun to see all of the different areas and how they looked and how they were drawn. It had a really good atmosphere. My only real complaint about this game is some of the side quests were a little tedious. It was a lot of go back and forth, talk to this person, then go here, talk to that person. But it didn't drag down the whole experience. But that was like the one kind of negative I had. But other than that, man, this is a really solid Metroidvania. And like I said, that mechanic of being able to absorb the enemies and use them for, to fight and other, abilities and things such as traversing and, things of that nature was done really well. So if you like Metroidvanias, I think Biomorph offers something different, and it's one that you should check out if you get the chance. If you're somebody who wants to just throw some hands and fight some challenging bosses, check out NanoApostle. This is a 2D kind of dark sci-fi pixel art style game, and you play as this little kid who's trying to escape this facility and you just got to fight bosses. Not gonna lie, I didn't care much about the story. I was just here to fight, and the fighting was fun. The bosses were challenging. They had creative patterns. You got a melee attack you can pull off. You have a range attack. You can dodge roll. They have this cool little like grapple move that you can do. And yeah, man, the boss fights are they're solid. They're solid and challenging boss fights. I went in this game just wanting to scrap, and this game gave me exactly what I wanted. Outside of the boss fights, there are these little training exercises that you can do to give yourself skill points, and you use the skill points to purchase modules, and the modules, just give you passive upgrades to make you more powerful. And there are also challenges that you can complete within the boss fights, and these will also give you skill points that you can use to purchase modules also. So they give you a smidgen of variety, but really it's mainly about the boss fights. And the boss fights are fun, they're creative, none of them felt really cheap. If you can get your skill up, these are fights that are winnable. And yeah, man, this game is very simple, straight to the point. It's a boss rush title. You fight, you throw hands, you overcome challenges, and you keep it pushing. I'd say the only negative is that this game is a little short, and unless you're just a masochist who wants to complete every single challenge, there's not much in terms of replay value. But for what you get in terms of these boss fights, I had a pretty good time with this. So if you want a boss rush title, you just want to throw some hands and have a little challenge, play NanoApostle, you'll have a good time. Well, I don't play a ton of turn-based RPGs, but I really enjoyed Beyond Galaxyland, so I wanted to put this on the list. And Beyond Galaxyland, you play as the homie Doug and the MVP, Stalking Guinea Pig Boom Boom, and they get transported to Galaxyland via a portal, and now they're off on what I would describe as a crazy 90s sci-fi movie adventure. And the adventure is going to have you going across various planets, all of which have like their own background and own backstory. The world just feels really full, and it has some depth, and it was made with care. You're going to be meeting a lot of interesting and weird characters across these planets, and the turn-based combat in this game is pretty dope. It has more of an active approach. You can choose how many times you swing during an attack. You can defend against attacks with the timing of a button press. And one of the best things about this game is that when enemies' health gets low enough, you can capture them like Pokemon, and you can use them for summons. And this even extends to certain boss fights. So I thought that was a really nice touch that they added in Beyond Galaxyland. On top of that, this game has gorgeous pixel art. Every planet has its own look and feel, and the pixel art just really accentuates that. The soundtrack to this game is really dope. I believe the dev is actually the person who made the music, so shout outs to Sam Enright, I believe is his name. Great job on the soundtrack. Really, my only negatives of Beyond Galaxyland are that there are frame drops in certain areas, and there's no autosave, so you have to save at just the designated save points. But for the most part, they are pretty evenly spaced out, so that never became too much of an issue most of the time. But yeah, this was a really cool turn-based RPG that I don't think got enough love. So if you like turn-based RPGs and you want one with more of a sci-fi twist, check out Beyond Galaxyland. Neon Inferno is a fire 2D action run and gun / gallery shooter. It's kind of like a fusion of Metal Slug, Contra, and Wild Guns in the best way possible. This game is so much fun. It is so chaotic. The art style is beautiful. The stage design is great. But the main thing that kind of makes this game challenging and also makes it fun is the fact that you're shooting enemies in the foreground and the background. So your eyes are paying attention, moving from side to side, but you also got to look into the background because people are shooting at you, and there's so much going on, and it can feel chaotic, and the controls might take a little bit to get used to, but I'm telling you to stick with it, because once it clicks, you're going to be having a blast. You'll be shooting forward, backward, foreground, background. There are certain bullets that you can deflect. You got a melee attack that you can do. If you get your score high enough and you earn enough points and get enough money, you can go to the shop and purchase kind of like some special guns that do run out of ammo eventually, but it's cool that those are there. There are different kinds of stages. You're going to be doing some platforming. You got some stages where you're riding vehicles. Crazy boss fights. It's everything that you want in a running gun shooter is here. It's just packaged in kind of this way, like I said, where it's has that gallery shooter element where you're in the foreground and the background. I played this on hard mode and I got my teeth kicked in, but it was so much fun. It was so much fun. I can't say enough positive things about this game. This was great. Not a very long game, but I feel like it's kind of meant to be played multiple times, and you can play it in co-op, so you can bring a friend along. But everything that you could want in a running gun, from good boss fights to just plain fun gameplay and a beautiful art style. This Neon Inferno is great, man. This was a lot of fun. If you like running guns, you absolutely have to play this. A game I played forever ago but never mentioned on this channel that definitely deserves a hidden gem recommendation is Golfclub Nostalgia, formerly known as Golfclub Wasteland. So in this game, humanity is basically destroyed in terms of Earth. The rich people have fled to Mars, and some of them come back to Earth in these hazmat suits, and they play golf across the desolate and just destroyed wasteland now that it's Earth. So you come back to Earth and you're literally just shooting golf. But what makes it a little interesting is that there's this radio station in the background, and the radio station is playing songs, giving you a nice little soundtrack to vibe to, and it's also telling these stories to kind of give you a glimpse as to what happened to the planet, and people are reminiscing about what they used to do on Earth, so on and so forth. So I like kind of what's going on in the background as you play the game, because it keeps it from being completely silent. Gameplay wise, it's pretty simple. You're literally just playing golf across, different areas of the Earth. Now, it can get challenging. The game starts off pretty easy, but soon you'll have to get shots over obstacles. You got to traverse different land types, and it can get a little difficult. So it's definitely got some challenge, but it's not a super long game, and I think it was just really unique, man. This is a really just interesting concept, and I think they pulled it off really well. But yeah, if you just want to play a chill game of golf across Earth that does get frustrating at times, but it doesn't overstay its welcome, I think Golfclub Nostalgia is something you should look at. Vengeful Guardian Moonrider is a great homage to the old school action platformers that we grew up on. This is a 2D 16-bit action platformer, and it's kind of like a fusion of, I would say, Shinobi 3 meets Mega Man / Mega Man X. And with games like the new Shinobi and Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, while those games were good, well, I only played Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, but like I've heard those games were great, but some people's complaint is that they didn't have like that old school feel to it. And Vengeful Guardian Moonrider definitely has that. It feels old school from the look of it. They even have a CRT filter that you can cut on if you really want to go that route. But great pixel art. The gameplay, it feels more old school in its challenge and its stage designs, but not dated in a way. But you got slash moves for your melee, you got a dive attack, you can jump on walls. And what's really cool is, kind of like Mega Man, is after you beat a boss, you get your special ability from that boss, and then you can use that on the next stage that you go to. And the abilities aren't necessarily weaknesses to other bosses, but some of them you just may find more mechanically useful as opposed to it being like an actual weakness. But the abilities are all dope, and kind of like Mega Man, you can choose whatever stage that you want to go to first, so you can play them in any order. And the stage designs are pretty solid. You got kind of like your standard stages, I guess, that you would expect in a game like this, but then you got stages that take place completely in the air. You have my favorite, the motorcycle stages. Always love when these retro games have those kind of stages in them. But yeah, this is just a good homage to that era of 2D action side scrollers. It doesn't really reinvent the wheel, but it pays great homage. It gives you solid boss fights, and it's a fun game. So if you like those kinds of games, maybe like a Ninja Gaiden, like a Shinobi, but you want it to feel more old school, check out Vengeful Guardian Moonrider. If you haven't, this is definitely a good one. If you love hidden gems videos, especially Nintendo Switch ones, I got even more videos like this on the channel. I will leave a link to that playlist in the description, so check it out. But that's all I got for today's video. My name is Serial Sensei. Y'all stay safe, y'all stay hydrated, and I will catch you on the next one.